Conference and entered tonight's game with a record of 2 wins and 13 losses. The Wildcats head coach is Brian White. He is assisted by Michael Geisler, Nick Nelson, and Bryn Peterson. The Ballard Bombers, also members of the Raccoon River Conference, have a season record of 14 wins and no losses. The head coach of the Bombers is Kelly Anderson. He is assisted by Kelvin Adams, Nathan Smith, and Darren Harrow. Ladies and gentlemen, the officials for today's Battle on the Hardwood are Ken Carlson, Philip Jens, and Rusty Wordemont. And now for the starting lineups, first our guest, the Wildcats of Carlisle. At the guard position, a senior, number 3, Amelia Sinclair. Playing forward, a senior, number 5, Sydney Bird. At a forward position, a sophomore, number 12, Sage Austin. Playing forward, a sophomore, number 25, Katie Keeney. And rounding out the lineup at a guard position, a sophomore, number 32, Isabel Norrie. Remove your hats. Face the flag located at the south end of the gymnasium as we honor our flag and our country by the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Well, don't normally get to say this, but good morning, everybody, and welcome to the hangar, home of your Ballard Bombers, for this morning's Raccoon River Conference battle between your Ballard Bombers and the Carlisle Wildcats. Bombers win the tip. I'm your play-by-play announcer, Brock Bierman, alongside a special guest, former boys varsity head coach Chris Deason.
Yeah, thanks, Brock. Good to be back in the saddle again here.
Bombers with the ball to start out. Starters for this morning's game for the Bombers, as the travel is called. Brooke Levy and Molly Eiley in the guards positions. At forwards, you got Josie Fleischman and Meg Reitz, and down low is Cassidy Thompson.
Yeah, it looked like Carlisle coming out a little bit of a 2-3 zone there. Bombers tried to get the ball at high post and unfortunately turned it over.
And Fleischman comes up with the steal, coming from behind against the Wildcat offensive player. Fleischman on the other end fires a three, hits it. What a way to open the game for Josie Fleischman. Gets the steal, and on the other end hits the three.
Yeah, it's nothing new there for her, right? She shoots a credible percentage from there, and they're going to have to identify her a lot quicker on that transition D.
Bombers coming off of a win against Carroll last night. They won 60-28. I guess as a former coach, what do you tell your players playing a back-to-back night, how to handle the game?
Well, one of the things I used to do is I used to start preparing them in the middle of the week, saying, hey, remember, we have, not that you're looking ahead, but hey, remember, we have 2 games this weekend. You can't just prepare for Friday night and then check out and be done. You have to be mentally tough enough to play back-to-back. It's a lot harder than what people think it is. So from me, it's about 90% mental preparation. Physically, they know what to do. They're on a roll. They're undefeated. You just don't want to overlook anybody, and just mentally prepare to be tough enough to play 2 nights in a row.
Well said. Tigers. Wildcats with the ball. I guess I was still thinking about Carroll. They missed the three right there. Levy with the rebound. Great pass from Levy to Thompson down low for the easy layup on the fast break.
Great job running the floor there by Cassidy, getting out there. Great hands and great pass.
Bombers with an early 5-0 lead. Wildcats with the ball. Bombers with their signature press defense. Down low, they get a shot off by Sydney Berg. It was no good. Rebound by the Bombers. Eiley gives it up to Reitz. Levy now will set up the offense for the Bombers.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a what I always have called a 3-2 zone. Some people call it a 1-2-2, but designed to take away the three-point shot specifically.
But it leads to an open offensive rebound bucket. Count it and one for Molly Eiley.
She just continues to amaze me at how, at her size, she can just continually lead not only our conference in rebounding, but be a state leader in that category. Just her tenacity on the boards is so impressive.
Definitely has helped the Bombers on the offensive end with those offensive rebounds. She's able to get either her own shot or find an open person on the wing, usually, off of those offensive rebounds. I keep saying Tigers. I apologize. Wildcats turned it over right there.
And then Isabel Noring bringing it up for Carlisle. Great story on her. Just been out with a knee injury. Last night against North Polk was her first game back. She had a little bit of foul trouble last night, but great to see her back on the court. And it's just you never want to see high school kids have to miss games, and so injuries are tough to deal with, and just really cool to see her back out there.
Most definitely. There's a timeout on the court. Right now the Bombers lead 8-0 early on in this Raccoon River Conference battle. Current standings as of now from the Raccoon River Conference. These stats were updated probably around 11:30 last night, so some games might have not have been posted by the time I updated this. Bombers are in first place. Command Control with 11-0 Raccoon River Conference record, 14-0 overall. Carlisle on the other end, only with 2 wins, 10 losses in the Raccoon River Conference, 2 wins overall, 13 losses on the season. Bombers with the ball out of the timeout. Levy on the right side, she drives, floats it up, doesn't get it to go, out of bounds, and it'll be Wildcats ball.
Yeah, that's absolutely Brooke's shot. I've seen her shoot that floater, either jump stop floater or 1-foot floater many times in the last several years, and that's kind of a rarity when she misses that. Oh
yeah, and she always tries to get it to go off the glass, which is a great thing for a floater. Great trap by the Bombers, forces a 5-second call.
Yeah, no, Katie, I thought did a great job of stepping through that double team right there, number 25 for Carlisle, and just didn't have anybody open to deliver it to. But that's exactly how you teach that. You know, step through that double team, find the open player, get them the ball.
And it's just really hard to play against this Bomber defense. They're really good at trapping, getting steals, and even down low, they're able to block shots when they need to. Wildcats with the ball. On the right side, it is Sinclair. She gets it down low. And a three-point shot by Sinclair. She gets the ball back, no good. Rebound by the Bombers. Bombers go quickly on the other end. Fleischman, Levy, cross court to the right side. Reitz fires a three, no good. Rebound by Levy. Eiley fires a long three, gets it to go. Molly Eiley with the three-point shot, and the Bombers now have an 11-point lead.
Yeah, Molly started off the year shooting the ball really well from three. I think she was in the 40s, maybe 41, 42%. That dipped a little bit lately, and she's still very, very respectable at about 31, 32%. But I mean, knock a few down here and boost that percentage a little bit more.
Wildcats looking to respond as that three is no good by Sinclair. Rebound by the Bombers. Eiley falls to the ground, draws a foul. It'll be Bombers ball.
A little hesitation dribble there, trying to get up the left side, and just got bumped on the hip, and foul called by longtime Iowa high school official Kenny Carlson.
And off the inbounds, a wide open three for the Bombers. Doesn't get it to fall by Fleischman. Wildcats kind of looked confused, or like weren't ready for the offensive play.
Yeah, it almost looked like they didn't know the ball had been checked in yet. Talking to Coach White before the game, really young team for Carlisle, a lot of learning going on this year, but a lot of promise out there too in all those young kids.
Wildcats with the ball, looking to get on the scoreboard for the first time this morning. Austin drives a foul. Oh, there's two number 12s on my sheet.
Nice little possession there so far for Carlisle. Good ball movement, getting the ball side to side, and then attacking from the elbow. Get the reach-in foul from the Bombers, and they'll have it out under their own hoop here. Nice little diagonal screen and reshape there.
Got a nice shot off, can't get it to go. Levy draws a foul off the rebound. That was Sage Austin with that shot attempt. She's also the one that got called on the foul on that rebound. Bombers with the ball, 2:40 left in the first quarter.
Carlisle sticking to that 3-2 zone. Bombers running kind of a high post look, and Meg Reitz with a great left-handed kiss on the glass there.
And I've talked with Chase about this a lot during the games. I think Meg Reitz might be one of, if not the best, like drive off the right side to the left side I've seen in a long time for high school players. She's able to get inside from driving on the right wing on the left side for an easy layup almost every possession if she wanted to.
Yeah, she's got a great first step. She's long, she's athletic, and then once she gets to the rim, she does a nice job of finishing as well.
1:57 left in the first quarter. Wildcats with the ball. Austin swings it over the left side. Pitts with the ball, guarded by Levy. Lily Hillebrand was defending, as well as Ashley Wiesenberg. Those two just checked in for the Bombers a couple minutes ago.
It almost looks like a high flex series here. I don't know. Some people call it Wisconsin swing. But Carlisle moving the ball side to side, setting that elbow screen. You can see it right there. And then an additional down screen. Traditional flex just runs a little bit lower, but it's been modified a little bit over the years, most notably by Bo Ryan at Wisconsin. And it's a great way for a perimeter-based team to get a lot of screening action and get a lot of cutters.
They've had some great ball movement on this possession specifically. Just Bombers defense has been able to cover every open pass lane. Foul called. Looks like it's going to be on the Bombers. Foul is on Lily Hillebrand, her first. Team second. Brooke Levy and Meg Reitz head to the bench. Kylie Rigby and Molly Eiley check in.
There's like offset box here, a couple screen aways, get that inbounds play, and didn't exactly get what they were looking for, so they'll set up and run offense.
Wildcats with the ball with 55 seconds left in the first quarter, looking to get on the scoreboard before the end of the first quarter. Weisberg defending the player down low, and a foul called on the drive.
Yeah, my guess is that Sydney Berg would have wished that maybe that foul wouldn't have got called, because she'd gotten into the painted area and got a nice spin and was looking at a really nice shot.
Wildcats get it in to Olsen. Olsen back to the top of the perimeter to Pitts. Back to Olsen. Wildcats again looking to get back on the scoring column for the first time today. 30 seconds left in the first quarter.
Oh, that was really, really nice defense. You know, you have Sage Austin there, just ripped and went hard baseline, and Josie Fleshman just did a great job of moving her feet, shutting off that baseline drive.
This Bomber defense just overall, like even on the bench, you got communication from the players. Like jump ball called, possession arrow towards the Bombers. I had a chance to go to the varsity game last night against Carroll, and like first time where I'm not calling a game this year, and I've been able to sit behind the bench, and just even when you're not in the game, the players are just communicating with each other on both sides of the ball, which is great for this team, and it shows by how they play with each other.
Yeah, good defensive teams all have that in common. They communicate well, you know, if it's really hard. It's really hard to talk and communicate and not be in proper position. If you're saying, hey, I've got help or I've got whatever, then your body's actually going to be in that spot. So those two things go hand in hand, and our girls do it as well as anybody.
And that will do it for the first quarter of play. Bombers with a 13-point lead. I do want to give a quick shout out to a couple of people. One, to Tiger Vision up at Carroll. They always do a great job with their live streams and broadcasts of their varsity events, and as usual last night they did a great job. I had someone send me a photo of either a commercial or graphic they had, but they had the players like incorporated in the old NBA Jam thing, and like I know like my generation doesn't really know what that is, but I know what it was, and I thought that was the coolest thing I've seen in a while, with like based off of like high school like graphic making and all that. I thought that was cool. And the other shout out I want to give to is I think it's Blue Jay Live, Bondurant Farrar's group. They helped me figure out how to make this custom scoreboard that we have for today's game, and we appreciate their input and how to set up a scoreboard like that, and we're looking to either advance off of it or keep it as is, because it's better than what we had to start the season for sure. Wildcats with the ball to start out the quarter. Sydney Berg gives it up to Emma Pitts. On the court for the Bombers to start out this quarter of play is the starters, Molly Eiley, Meg Reitz, Cassidy Thompson, Josie Fleischman, and Brooke Levy. That shot is no good. Rebound by Levy. Great one-handed pass to Fleischman up the court.
Yeah, that's a great point, Brock. I mean, people think that, you know, you watch that and you're like, oh, that's an easy pass ahead. That's not an easy pass.
As Eiley hits that three, yeah. This team with just passing, they're willing to risk some tough passes, but they're just great ball handlers and moving the ball as a whole. I guess that a tough pass for them, as a 10-second call is called. A tough pass for them is easy. They make it look easy for how they pass it.
They absolutely do, and you're looking at a really, really stellar defensive effort here so far. 16-0, almost 9 minutes in. That's really impressive. No matter who you're playing, exactly.
It's great that they've played great on that defensive side. Bombers with the ball, looking to extend their lead. Fleischman gives it over to Reitz. Reitz down low to Thompson. Great play by the Bombers right there. Gets an open jump hook for Cassidy Thompson.
Really good. It starts with really good ball movement. That ball went around the perimeter, and Josie Fleischman could have easily shot that three from the right wing, but just kept moving it. The ball doesn't stick. It goes to the corner. Cassidy Thompson gets a nice roll down cut and just puts it beautifully off the glass.
Josie Fleischman was the one that drawed that jump ball call, so the Bombers now with the possession.
Well, they're going to really look to have to. Yeah, it's a nice little set play there.
Eiley for three.
You have Molly Eiley, who's made 2 in a row, so you just you get a turnover opportunity to add 3 to the board, and I love that. That's the equivalent of getting a turnover in football and trying to take a shot deep. You get that, you got a hot shooter, you got a turnover, and you just go to her right away.
Foul down low. Looks like it's going to be on Thompson. It'll be the team's 4th foul. First personal for Thompson. Box set for the Wildcats.
Going to run that inbounder off that screen to the baseline. Ballard covered it up pretty well. That's where all your film watching and scouting time comes in.
They've been playing great on the defensive side so far today.
One of the things I love about watching them play as we commit a foul there, but every time we close out on the perimeter to a shooter with the ball, we have high hands. The line of sight is disrupted for the shooter, and then we're also active with our feet so that if they decide to pull it down and drive, we're able to move and stay in front. And those two things take hours and hours of repetition. They didn't just tell them, hey, let's go play good D tonight, and that's what they did. Like they break that down and they work on those closeouts all the time, and you can really see it in action.
And with today, how much the game has changed in the last 10 years. Not many teams take pride on defense, but this team, they thrive on the defensive side, and they love playing defense, it seems like.
I would agree, Brock. It's a great observation.
Wildcats get on the scoreboard with 2 free throws from Katie Keeney.
And I will tell you this about Katie. Her dad was a phenomenal high school football player. Matter of fact, I still probably have bruises on my body from him in high school.
And the Bombers force another turnover. And another 3 for the Bombers, no good.
What a great offensive rebound. Just swim technique around the outside, tips the ball to herself with one hand. Outstanding job there by Lily Hillbrands.
Bombers again with great ball movement around the perimeter, looking to get something at the high post to give it to Thompson. Reitz in the right corner. Cross court to Eiley on the left side. Eiley drives in, drives it back out.
Really good defensive possession here by Carlisle. They're really active.
Thompson out to Eiley. Bombers in no hurry. Reitz fires a 3, no good.
Yeah, it looks like to me that Carlisle is content to give Meg that corner 3. If you look at her statistics, she's shooting 45% from there. But she's gotten 2 wide open ones. She just hasn't been able to put them in. So, with a zone, you've got to give up something. You can't guard everything out of it if a team moves the ball like we're moving it. So they're going to be content to give that up. And so far, that's been a good strategy for them.
Levy takes it in. What a move. Just can't get the bucket to fall. Rebound by the Wildcats.
Yeah, she's having a rough go on that runner so far. A couple possessions ago, she had a jump stop floater that didn't go for her, and then that one-footed floater right there. So she's got to keep going to that, though. That's her game. Coach Anderson, has full confidence in her, and it's just a matter of time before she starts making those.
Foul called. Bombers almost got another turnover, but a foul called. It'll be the Bombers' 6th team foul, second personal for Brooke Levy. Ashley Wiesenberg checks out, or
checks in.
Oh, she head back to the bench. So.
Oh yeah, they just opted to go with Sydney Briggs instead. Team is so deep.
And they've played a lot of games together, so.
Yep.
And a travel called for the Wildcats, so it'll be the Bombers' ball. 3:54 left in the half. And I know being a coach, you preach this all the time, but the thing that has impressed me a lot about this game in particular is the Bombers have been doing the little things. That's the thing that's been shocking is Hildebrand gets that 3 on the right side. But on the defensive end, like you said, they put their hands up when they're closing out. They're making the extra pass when they need to. It's all those things that coaches preach, and not many teams can figure it out, as number 25, Katie Keeney, makes the 3. But, yeah, I've just been really impressed with how this Bomber team has been playing this morning.
Yeah, I would agree. They, you're right. I used to preach that like crazy. The little things you can't do, 100 different things one time and expect to be good at it. But you can do one thing 100 times and get really good at it. Well, that's kind of their philosophy. Like they do those little things, like chop their feet on closeouts, like get their hands up on closeouts, and they do those repeatedly over and over and over and over and over until they become really, really good at it. And that just, I just love that philosophy, and I think it's very, very successful for them. And I think the sky's the limit for this team. Great passing right there. Good job by Sydney Briggs holding her position, sealing that up so she could get that baseline look. And then she immediately, if you noticed, is looking backside for another teammate. Like, they're so unselfish.
It's crazy how much they're willing to pass. And, like, sometimes it comes back and bites them in the butt, but I will always take a too passive team than a team that does too many ISOs.
That's a great set there. So they run 2 shooters to the wing, and then they take the bottom girl, which happened to be Sydney Briggs, seal in on the middle of that 2-3 zone, and then just flash Meg Reitz from the top, and there's no one left to guard her because they've got to cover the corner 3, they've got to cover the middle who's getting sealed, and it's just a numbers game. All of a sudden we have more offensive players in that area than they have defenders, and that's why that's such a good zone out of bounds play.
Wildcats with the ball. A 3 from Keeney, no good, out of bounds. Bombers ball. 2:07 left in the half.
Good open shot for her. She had just made her last one, so just nice job of her just pulling up, shooting the ball with confidence. Really exploiting the middle of that zone.
It creates an open 3 for Fleischman in the left corner.
And that's the area that's tough to cover for that 3-2 zone. You really take away the perimeter 3 up top, but when you get the ball to that open middle area and immediately throw it to the deep corner, they have to run one of their post defenders all the way out there, and it's just a tough cover.
Eiley with the ball for the Bombers, 1:28 left. Eiley fires a 3 from the pass from Reitz, gets it to go. Bombers have been hitting from the 3-point line.
Yeah, but I think that's her 3rd 3 of this first half, and I think she maybe missed one, so I think she's 3 for 4 right now. Great start for her. And once again, it's all off the passing. Meg Reitz gets the ball at the high post, immediately knows what to do. She gets collapsed on, turns, finds the open player.
Three-point shot for the Wildcats, no good. Offensive rebound by, I think, Keeney for the layup.
Yep, great offensive rebound and put back there by Katie Keeney.
40 seconds left.
Yeah, most likely Ballard hold for one here. Just kind of watching them all year. This has been their MO. You know, it reduces the number of possessions that your opponent's going to get, especially if you. I believe, I'm not positive. I believe it'll be. Well, maybe not our ball coming out second half, but it shows it's the guest ball coming out. I guess I missed a jump ball somewhere, but you get in a situation like this where you have the ball coming out second half, then it's really nice.
Iley drives in. Nice take to the hoop, draws a foul on the floor. So the Bombers will get a inbounds play.
And they call it on the floor.
Yeah.
Great opportunity here to run your best inbounds play. Be interesting, you know, to see if they run that slide action again. They got Reitz in the same spot. Looks like they're running it.
Great defense by the Wildcats on that possession.
Yeah, they defended it really well.
Fleischman's three is no good, and that'll do it for the first half. Your Bombers lead 29-7 in this Raccoon River Conference game. Do we have a halftime performance? Is it boys game that? I'm not. There's a halftime performance at some point. I don't remember which game it is.
Yeah, it does not look like anybody's coming out right now.
All right.
We do have a halftime interview coming up here real soon, though.
We're going to attempt to do like a little bit of a phone interview.
Hey, Jeff, you ready?
And we'll see if the audio works. If it doesn't, we'll do something else.
And then put you up on the mic here. Give me just a second, okay?
Do something else.
All right, so joining us today is longtime high school basketball official Jeff Junker. Jeff, welcome to our halftime show.
Chris, thanks for having me. Never done anything like this before, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I haven't either. We'll see. Hopefully this comes through. But
Put it closer to the mic real quick.
Yeah, how's the game going first?
Game's going pretty well. The Bombers are up 29-7. Yeah, we got off to a really good start. I'm just trying to figure out here where best to put this microphone so people can hear you. So I want you to go ahead and start. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you work, your family, your hobbies, all that kind of stuff real quick.
All right. Well, I'm an Iowan. I was born and raised in the big city of Missouri, population 255. So that was a unique experience, to say the least. 10 people in my class almost all the way through until we consolidated when I was a junior. So, very much small-town Iowa guy. I teach 7th grade math in Newton, and I've been here for, 17 years, I think. Something like that. I lose track. I teach 7th grade math and enjoy that. And as far as my personal life, I live alone. I got a wonderful girlfriend that I can't say enough about, that we've been together for a year. And part of this is she's wonderful, and part of this is I'm sucking up because, as you well know, our schedules during the winter are kind of crazy. So I'm going to give her as many props as I can just to stay in the good graces.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised actually when I got a hold of you and you said you weren't working today.
Yeah, some of the small college leagues are having, it's just kind of organized chaos as far as scheduling games and losing games and this, that, and the other thing. So I was actually supposed to be on a Division III game today, and they got canceled. So I'm taking advantage of it by doing all this great stuff, like cleaning my floors and doing laundry and all the stuff I haven't been around to do all week.
Nice. How long have you been in officiating, Jeff, and how'd that get started for you?
I've been in about 20 years. I was very fortunate. As you well know, Iowa State has a great program for developing officials. And I didn't start when I was a student at Iowa State. But two good friends of mine that you know well, Mike Lawler and Grant Mandernack, were officiating while I was around them in the dorms. And I got started, and other names that you know, Gary Greenlee and Randy Heimerman, were running intramurals at the time, and they helped take me under their wing, and taught me some good fundamentals at the beginning. And I started with basketball, and then I got into baseball just as an easy summer job for a teacher. And then I later added football, and now I'm out there almost year-round.
Yeah, and I remember specifically, Gary, and now I believe it's Russ Jones, but
yes, Russ is up there.
Yeah, Gary did a phenomenal job of developing those young referees and getting that program started.
Yeah, absolutely. And, those schools in that area, specifically the Raccoon River Conference, which Gary was in charge of at one time, it was such a great learning experience. And we had young coaches, so some of your former coaches are now head coaches that I just saw recently. And it was such a great learning environment for all of us. And, not that we didn't have altercations and issues between officials and coaches, but they all knew that we were trying to get better. And,
Yep.
we got a little bit of grace because it takes a while to learn and get decent at what we do. It's not an overnight success.
Right.
That's for sure.
Well, we talked about this a little bit leading up to this interview, but tell me a little bit about why you got involved in officiating and how that keeps you connected.
It's really about the people, and I have a lot of examples. People that get into officiating in general are just good people. I've worked with some guys and women over the years, and I've probably been this person once in a while that maybe not the best technically at what they do, but you know what? They're just good people. And I've worked with over 20 years in 3 different sports. I've only worked with a handful of people that I just really didn't get along with. A bigger part of this, and I think this is true of coaches as well. You don't realize when you're young how awesome it is to be a member of a team. And just have that camaraderie of being a team. And really, like with coaching, I would assume, when you're an official, you are very much part of a team, and it's that team mentality that you still get to have as an adult that I would really miss if I wasn't officiating.
Oh, that's cool. Let's talk about some technical stuff about the game here a little bit, just to kind of get some insight from you. What's the most misunderstood call in the game of basketball, and why do you think that is?
Those things are actually getting a lot better over the years. We don't hear the fans screaming for over the back and all that stuff. I think there are still people that misunderstand the 3-second rule, in that it's not exactly 3 seconds. It's, are you making a move to the basket? Are you trying to score? And there's some leniency there. So that one's a little bit misunderstood. I think one of the problems that we have in high school basketball is that most fans don't realize that there are different rule sets. I have my high school rule book and I have my college women's rules book. My college women's rules book is different than the college men that a lot of people are watching on TV. And all of those rules are much different than what we see in NBA games. So I don't know that the casual fan really understands that not every basketball game is refereed exactly the same way, because it can't be.
That's really interesting. That's really insightful. I think you're right. I think a lot of people don't understand that. What is the hardest call to make in a game, and why do you think so?
I was just talking about this. Tom Fetgether, longtime men's official, he and I worked a game Thursday night together, and we were talking about this, and I think the answer is going to surprise people. But honestly, the hardest thing that we have to do sometimes is grant a timeout.
Interesting.
And it's because of the magnitude of what's going on. People expect block charge and all that stuff, which, to me, if you have good fundamentals, you can make those calls consistently. But granting a timeout at the end of the game when you have responsibility for watching the players, yet we have to look to the bench and see and hear the head coach ask for a timeout, and then we have to make sure that team has clear control of the ball. That means the ball is in a player's hands to grant that timeout. That one's really tough sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that. What's been the biggest change you've seen in the game over your 20 years of officiating?
I think the biggest good move that was made was about 8 or 9 years ago, as you're well aware. We went away from the idea of advantage, disadvantage, and we just called fouls when they occurred. And that was such a great change for the game because we're now allowing ball handlers to move without being impeded by hands on them and forearms on them. And that speeds up the game and gets the game back to movement and grace, which is, in my opinion, is what it should be. It's not about being able to put your forearm on somebody and control them with strength.
Yeah, I agree. That was a great move.
In those advantage disadvantage games,
Yeah.
They were hard to referee and they were hard to coach because we couldn't be as consistent as we wanted to be because we were making up our mind, well, did it affect a play or not? And that made it harder for you to coach because you couldn't tell the kids what they could do and what they couldn't.
Right, exactly. So if you could make any change at the high school level rule-wise, what would it be?
The big thing that everybody's talking about now is shot clocks, and I think shot clocks would help. But I also think part of the problem with scoring is the game is just different than it was, and so many teams are looking for that one-on-one matchup. When they changed the shot clock on the men's side, and this is nothing against men's basketball, to me it looked like the only change that was made offensively is they beat you for 5 seconds rather than 10 seconds before they started playing. So I think shot clocks would help, but I don't think that's the big answer. One thing that we do in the college women's game that I really like is we reset the fouls every quarter.
Yeah.
And we don't shoot any one-on-ones. We shoot double bonus after 5 fouls, and then we clear those. And that gets rid of those marathon free throw games that you see some nights that are just no fun for anybody.
Yeah, I really like that too. Well, hey, Jeff, this kind of wraps up our halftime look, and we really appreciate you coming on and speaking with us. And I know
it was great.
I know I'll probably see you in the near future in a gym somewhere, and I always look forward to seeing you. And you take care. Have a great day, and thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah. Have a great day of basketball up there, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, great little halftime interview there from longtime official Jeff Junker. Jeff's a great guy. In my years of coaching, I could call Jeff anytime and say, hey, we got a scrimmage coming up. Would you want to work it? He'd show up. He'd do our summer league. I mean, he just in it for all the right reasons, really loves being around kids and really wants to help people get better.
It was a great interview, and not often you get a chance to interview an actual official. It's usually just coaches or representatives of a team or something like that. So it was a great time to actually get a chance to interview an official. I know that's definitely a tough job with dealing with a game because you don't want to make a bad call, but you got to make the right call. And
yeah, absolutely.
And I've grown on that. I used to be, when I was younger and immature, to be completely against officials.
Yeah, what's weird is nobody, everybody likes to complain about them, but you can't have the game without them. And
exactly.
They, by and large, everybody says, oh, this official is a homer or doesn't. I've never met an official who has a predetermined idea of what they're going to call. I've just never met one. They just go out there and they call what they see. They do the best job they can. It's a fast-paced game. It's really, really, really hard to officiate basketball. It is. It's just really hard.
So that was a great interview. If you're just tuning in right now, definitely if you get a chance to go back and listen to that interview, go through some key points that they brought up with misunderstood calls or just the life of changing basketball in the future or something like that. But great interview for sure. Cassidy Thompson makes that free throw right there.
A great little high-low action there to get her the basketball here to start off the second half.
Second one from Thompson. No good. 1 for 2 on that trip. 6:45 left in the third. Bombers lead 30-7. Almost a backcourt violation. Wildcats with the ball.
Running their high flex or Wisconsin swing here. Bombers doing a good job of bumping cutters.
I'll give the Wildcats credit. They've been able to move the ball. It's just Bombers have been a second faster on some of those passes that have led to turnovers, but great ball movement by the Wildcats today.
Well, and they just, you know, sometimes comes down to making some shots too. The open looks they've gotten, they just haven't been able to knock in. There's a nice open look, and she knocks that one down. Great shot there by Sage Austin. She comes in shooting about 30% from the three-point line and shot that with confidence, almost a little bit of a step back.
Bombers with the ball.
Carlisle's going to stay in that 3-2 zone. We're going to continue to try and force the action in the middle.
As Reed's layup is no good. Rebound by the Wildcats. Wildcats with the ball. Say they're gaining a little bit of momentum early on here in the third quarter.
A little bit stagnant here. Got to get that good ball movement going again like they've done for most of the game.
Another thing they've done great on the offensive end is that they've been patient. They're not necessarily forcing anything as they get inside. That was a great drive by Keeney. Draws a foul and she'll go to the line.
Yep, nice aggressive move to the basket. Gets fouled by, I believe, Reitz on her way in, and she'll get a couple shots here. Yeah, had an opportunity to visit with Coach White from Carlisle, who I've known probably for 8 or 10 years now, and you know, he's been involved in this profession for 30 years, and you know, his first job was an assistant as a boys coach at Abraham Lincoln, substitute teaching and coaching, and then his second job was as an assistant at BCIG on the boys side, and then actually went to Harlan for a year. But his first head coaching job was at Oskaloosa, and he was at Oskaloosa for 14 years. You know, that's kind of where he met his wife and started his family, and so he's well traveled, and I've always had a ton of respect for him. I love the stuff they run, you know, his first year when he came into Carlisle, you know, keep in mind they didn't win a regular season game the year before, and he strolls in 2012, 2013, they go 20-7, lose to Harlan by 3 in the state semis. So what an unbelievable year. He's 109-68 at Carlisle. So
that's a good record.
Yeah, very good. And he's won 233 games overall, and you know, just does a heck of a job. You know, this year, you know, wins have been a little bit tougher to come by, but you look at their roster, you know, they've had a point guard injured. They're playing really young kids. But they're getting better, and he really enjoys being around these guys, and they just do a really nice job and for him, and he thinks that they're a hard-working team that's great leadership from their seniors, and he said it, you know, makes it fun to be around every single day. You know, that's one of the things, like, people wonder, like, gosh, you know, why do coaches do it, or why do they do this, or why do they do that? I mean, he's clearly in it for all the right reasons, and just loves being around. You know, when you're not having a great year, and we've all been through that at the high school level, it just happens. You know, you can't recruit your players. You absolutely just coach the players you have to the best of your ability, and sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. And you know, during those years when you're not winning, you know, as a coach, you still enjoy those kids, and you love going to practice every day, and you love watching them get better. And sometimes those are some of your more satisfying seasons, and he's definitely said that about this group. They're just fun to be around every day.
Definitely, especially when a team's like hardworking, as this Wildcat team has shown so far today. Wins and losses don't matter as much as long as they're playing, having fun, and working hard.
Yeah, so many life lessons to be learned through sports. It's a big picture thing, and he completely gets that.
It's a good screen right there. Eiley knocked down number 32. Is it Spiker?
Isabel Noring.
Oh, Isabel, yeah. She's number 12 on here. Yeah, okay, my bad. Isabel Noring. That's, yeah.
Yep. She's just her second game back from injury, yeah, so it's not listed properly on a couple of our rosters.
Bombers with the ball, 3:45 left in the third quarter, 20-point lead. Reeds draws a foul.
Looks like we'll be out of bounds here. Get a chance to see another one of Coach Anderson's zone OBs. I don't think that's how he drew that one up.
Goes through the hands of Thompson. That'll be Wildcats ball. Wildcats will bring it up here with 3:33 left in the third quarter. Sydney Berg gives it up to Sage Austin. Over the right corner, Keeney for three, no good. Rebound by Levy. Bombers on the break. Levy hesitates, takes it in, no good. Rebound by the Bombers. Thompson puts it up, draws a foul, and she will go to the line.
Great job by Levy on that break. Just, she really utilizes that jump stop well, under control, just isn't able to get it to go, and then Cassidy comes in, gets a nice rebound, and draws a foul.
Thompson misses the first free throw. Lily Hillebrand and Kylie Rigby check in for the Bombers.
The ball came off Cassidy's hand. They're a little flat on this one. Let's see if she can get a little more air into this one. Nope.
Second one's no good as well. Wildcats with the ball. I mean, free throws, not necessarily something that is heavily practiced in basketball, or at least depending on the coaches. I don't know what did you guys practice free throws a lot?
We did, yeah, we did. For some reason, we had a stretch of seemed like about 5 years in there where we shot between 50 and 60% from the foul line as a team, and we had really good teams. It just didn't make any sense, and so that is something that we really turned our attention towards and tried to get better at. And we made it. Matter of fact, we made it part of our goals for the off season the 1 year, and then that next year we set a school record for team free throw percentage. So I mean, it's one of those things that when kids go to the gym to shoot, they don't go to the foul line and shoot 100 free throws. They'll shoot 100 threes, or they'll shoot 100 pull-ups, but that's something that we try to encourage our guys to just, every time you go work out, every time you shoot, go to the free throw line when you're done, maybe at the beginning, maybe at the end, both, and shoot 50 free throws. And it's just all muscle memory, I mean, so then when you get into a game, then it's more mental. We always say it's really good to have a cadence when you're at the free throw line. Like you are saying something to yourself. That's a nice ball there. You're saying something to yourself when you go to the free throw line. Like maybe you're counting, or maybe you're saying to yourself, get up on your toes. And what that does is it takes your mind off of everything, like the people screaming in the stands, or that voice in your head that's saying, you got to make this, or whatever. It takes your mind off of all that stuff and lets your body's physical ability take over, which it knows what to do because you've shot so many in practice. But that's where it starts, is those times alone in the gym.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where no one really thinks teams practice a lot, but teams know that it can hurt them in the end if it's a close game. Free throws are a huge thing. Yeah,
and we always tried to do situational stuff in practice too. Hey, we're down 2. We got a guy at the line shooting a 1-on-1. Nice follow there by Ashley Wiesenberg. And, everybody kind of waiting to see what happens, or everybody, hey, if we make both of these, we don't have any conditioning, or if we make all these or whatever, if we come up short, we have this much conditioning, and just to add a little pressure to the situation, because obviously there's going to be pressure in a game.
And a great ball movement and drive by the Wildcats. Still go to the free throw line. I think that's Keeney will go to the line.
Yeah, and if you look, Bombers as a team shooting almost 72% from the foul line this year, so phenomenal free throw shooting team.
First one by Keeney's good.
Great looking stroke there by Katie, and hope she can knock this one down, up her percentage a little bit.
Weissenberg heads to the bench as Sydney Briggs checks in for the Bombers. Second one is no good. Rebound by Sydney Briggs.
Nice tough rebound there by Sydney.
Eiley with the ball. Bombers looking to hold it for possibly one shot with 27 seconds left.
Yep, hold for one here, then you turn around and you open the next quarter with possession. Always a good thing. You get 2 possessions in a row, you can kind of always bump a little bit, especially really important in a closer game. But these are the kind of things that are hard to practice in practice. So it's a great opportunity to get that look here in a game situation.
Bombers fall short on that take on the offensive end. Wildcats almost got a half-court shot to go. And that'll do it for the third quarter of play. 35-15 score here. Bombers with the lead.
Yeah, you know, coming into this game, you know, one of the things it's hard to believe that, you know, this is Coach Anderson's 10th season at the helm, you know, taking over for legendary Coach Merle Oberding. You know, sometimes when I look at Coach Oberding's win and loss record, I think that there must be some mistake, because it's crazy how, you know, it's like, I don't remember exactly what his percentage is, but it's ridiculously high.
Some great teams.
Yeah, and then you know, Coach Anderson has kind of made his own mark on this program as well, with just 10 incredible years as the head coach here so far, and currently ranked number 2 in the state. They're 13-0. Regional pairings are going to come out the second week of February, and I know they're super excited about their opportunity here come postseason.
And one of the things I thought was special about this senior group is that they've grown every season. Season 1, when they were freshmen playing varsity, they still had a good year, shaky season compared to like the last 3 years for them. But like season 2, sophomore year, they lost to Waverly Shell Rock in the district finals.
Yep.
And then last year, getting the chance to go to state, falling short in the first round. As Reitz fires a 3 right there, no good. Wildcats ball. And then now this year, we'll see if they'll continue their growth and maybe make a deep run in the state tournament.
Yeah, it's been interesting over the last few years, you know, with our girls bumping up to 4A, with the girls adding a class. It's been really interesting. A lot of different opponents when you get into that regional play. I think, was it last year we played Mason City, I think, to go. And, you know, you're used to seeing, okay, Mason City's traditionally a CIML team that you wouldn't normally face, but.
What a steal. Sorry to interrupt you, but that was a great effort by Eiley to see the inbounds play and just steal it to get an easy fast break layup right there. Well, not really a fast break, she was right there.
Yeah, and it started with Josie Fleshman with great body control on that finish, on that fast break, and then Molly Eiley with great vision to get the inbounds.
Bombers with the ball. They try to get it down low to Thompson, foul drawn.
Yeah, tough catch there for Cassidy. As she's going up for it, someone must have had a hold of her arm because they quick called it.
Free throw is good by Thompson. And this season's been crazy with everything that's been going on and off the court, just with rules and regulations with fans and stuff. So it was kind of cool yesterday at Carroll to see a little bit more of a fan base as we're slowly opening things up. Especially at Carroll, that's always one of my favorite places to go on a road game because it's always a tight and loud environment for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, their students were sitting in pods, I think, which we started to open up to our last home game here today. Obviously, with the 11 a.m. start, I think I don't know if maybe all of our people are out of bed yet this morning. Heck, I'm still drinking my coffee, so it almost had almost like an AAU feel, where you show up in the morning, grab your coffee, and go play basketball.
As Fleischman hits that three right there. Out of bounds. Wildcats will remain with the possession.
Josie with quick hands there, getting in there and disturbing that play.
And I guess since I mentioned Carroll being such a great place to play a game at, the Raccoon River Conference, Carlisle has a new facility, great facility.
Yep.
So I love their old little barn
varsity
gym that they used to, their old varsity gym that they used to have. It was such a tough environment to play in.
Yes.
So that ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Bombers ball. What was I know I don't know. Did you live for those away games where it was tight and very loud and stuff? And which gym did you prefer to play in the Raccoon River or coach in the Raccoon River Conference?
It's there's no better feeling than when as a coach and as a team when you can take your guys on the road and win in a hostile environment. The Carroll and Carlisle, I think you hit it on the head, were two in my time were two of the toughest places to play. Nice three there by Cass. I remember going to Carroll one time with, and I don't remember specifically what year it was. We had Ian Rewalt, Chris Sievers, Nick Wheeler, that crew. And we went over there and won by 15. And I think we broke, they had a 50-some game home winning streak, which if you think about it, you only play about 10, 11 games at home per year. So they basically hadn't lost a home game in 5 years.
Jeez.
And they at one point they went 12 consecutive years with a Division I player on the roster. And in 26 years of coaching, I never coached a Division I basketball player. So, I mean, that just tells you what their level of talent was. But we went over there and beat them, and it was phenomenal. Ian Rewalt went 16 for 16 from the foul line. And there's just no better feeling. And then, going to Carlisle, it didn't matter. Great look by Molly. It didn't matter going to Carlisle what the records were, what kind of team they had, it was always just going to be a dogfight, and tough place to play. But as far as places that I like to go play, for some reason I always like to go to Winterset. Not sure why. I just always felt like their gym was a great shooting gym, and we just always had pretty good success there over the years. So.
And they had some great teams the last couple of seasons as well.
Yes, indeed.
Wildcats with the ball. Travel call. They'll be Bombers ball now. But even neutral site games, especially when it's neutral site, those are some of the best games to be at because you got both fan bases just filling up the gym.
Right.
And that's when I think of the game that we qualified for state my senior year, your last year of coaching against Pella, where just both crowds, even though we kind of were we had our momentum pretty much the whole game, they were still slowly gaining momentum, and their crowd started getting into it. That was a great environment for sure.
Yeah, and that one was at Southeast Polk. That's a great place to play. And then we played a sub-state qualifying game one time at the Marshalltown Roundhouse and a district final at the Marshalltown Roundhouse. Fortunate to win both of those games over the years, and that was another super fun place to play.
Great three by Hillebrand right there.
Well, Bombers 52-20 here with 3:34 to go, and at this point it looks like we're gonna get some people off the bench and kind of rest some legs after this back-to-back.
Especially with a huge game coming on Tuesday when they play Gilbert here.
Yeah, I noticed that Gilbert took another one on the chin, losing to Winterset. That puts them that gives our girls a 3-game lead. I'm not sure how many we have left to play. We play 18 conference games. Is that right?
I think so. So
3-game lead with 6 to play after today.
yes, I don't know if they ever said they were going to make up that at Boone game that we had to cancel early or postpone early on. There's some rumblings of another team having to postpone some games. So I don't know how many games are left, but Bombers are in good shape, control their own destiny to regain that title.
I think I'm not sure how they'll do it, but if we are at the point where we are up, 3 games with 2 to play, and we're missing a game, they might not make us make it up unless one of those teams that could be battling for a second spot or something like that. But that, if that's one of those teams that we need to make up with, and I'm not sure. My understanding is that they want to try and play all the conference games, so that we have a true conference champion and true conference standing. So we will see. We will see how that goes. But Tuesday will be a fun one here in the hangar, that's for sure.
It's one of those games where I wish we could be back to some kind of normalcy with a huge student section, because last time Tigers came into this gym, they kind of slapped us in the face. And that was actually the last regular season loss the Bombers have had. And that was the first game last year.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that the opener last year? Yeah.
And Gilbert, a really good team, got some talented players. First year in the Raccoon River Conference, as well as North Polk.
Yeah.
3-point shot from Rigby, no good. Rebound by Lily Beal. On the court for the Bombers, we got both of the Noe sisters, Kylie Rigby, Sydney Briggs, and Lily Beal. Foul called. Tigers ball. Tigers. I don't know why I keep saying Tigers. Wildcats ball. 1:55 left in the fourth quarter.
Wildcats, Tigers, it's similar.
Yeah,
similar.
It's a cat.
It's understood. We, on the road at Carroll last night. So.
Battle for the ball. Wildcats come up with it. Get in the right corner. 1:35 left. We do have the boys varsity game against the Carlisle Wildcats coming up, as that 3-point shot is no good. Battle for the ball. Jump ball.
That boys game could be, we'll find out here after the seating meetings, but that boys game could be a preview of a sub-state game. Yeah.
And we'll go over sub-state probably during halftime after a dance team performance during the boys game. Definitely getting close, and the excitement for postseason basketball is starting to rile up.
Yeah, it's always a fun time of year, and it kind of mirrors college basketball is kind of working towards March, and you start to get into February, and you get into that second week of February, and everybody's kind of got their conference championships decided, and you're looking at your regional and sub-state pairings, and it's just a fun time.
Wildcats with the ball. 1:05 now left in the fourth quarter. And a shot right there is no good. Offensive rebound and a layup for the Wildcats. I think that was Sarah Watchell for the Wildcats that made that shot. Number 23 for the Wildcats. That shot by the Bombers no good. 35 seconds left. A tough pass out of bounds, Bombers ball. Bombers will have the ball with 26 seconds left. Bombers are going to improve to 15-0 overall, 12-0 in Raccoon River Conference. And the Wildcats will fall to 2-14 overall and 2-11 on the conference season. We'll admit, Wildcats played actually really well after the first quarter, where they were held to 0 points, but great effort from the second quarter on overall on the offensive side.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, we talked about this a little bit. I thought that they really played well during the third quarter. You know, got some stops and got the ball to go in the basket a few times for them. And so, yeah, it's just something for Coach White to build on there, definitely going forward.
Well, that is the final, 52-22. Bombers win to remain undefeated in conference and overall in the season. We will be right back after a short break for the boys' varsity game between the Carlisle Wildcats. And yeah, great, another great day of basketball for the Bombers. Thank you for tuning in to the varsity girls game. This, as always, is the Ballard Network.